Is the price action on Bitcoin hinting it could be on the verge of a crash? Tonight, I want to look at Bitcoin because it's been a while since we've had an update on Bitcoin, and it is looking very weak on the chart. And there is a very simple price action trigger that can protect you, especially if you're in Bitcoin. And I do believe this could save you a lot of money if we see the price action starting to break down here. So the first thing we need to look at when we look at Bitcoin is that it is clearly in a trading range. The bottom of that trading range is right around 92,000, and the top of that trading range is anywhere between 106 and 108,000. Now, the weakness on the chart is very apparent because we had this head and shoulders pattern where Bitcoin was making lower highs and lower lows relative to the new all-time high price. And then that was invalidated as we broke out above 102. And then we went back up to the previous all-time high and just slightly broke it. But more importantly, the price action rejected it. And we didn't get that bull breakout that was supposed to carry Bitcoin even higher. And ever since this double top looking rejection, Bitcoin has just continued to make lower high rejections from that price, and we are now getting what looks like a lower low breakdown below the previous low of support right around 95,000, and we're getting extremely close to the range lows at 92,000. And the reason this is significant is simply because if we break the range lows, that is the neckline of the double top rejection, and that does confirm that Bitcoin is a double top rejection if price action breaks down below 92,000. So if you're a Bitcoin bull, it is okay to stay long Bitcoin as long as we're above 92,000. But what I want to warn you about is that below 92,000, this is going to be a confirmed double top if we break the neckline, and that means Bitcoin could start to flush all the way down towards 73,000. Now, more importantly, if I zoom out, there's a good chance we come all the way down to that level, technically speaking anyway, because that was the previous all-time high in 2024, and breaking that previous all-time high usually has a technical retest of support before going higher, but we broke right through it and just went straight up in a very parabolic fashion, and that is more than likely why Bitcoin is spending so much time in this trading range digesting that very parabolic move. So it doesn't guarantee Bitcoin has to break down and go lower, but it's increasing the probability, especially if we break down below the range low, which is the neckline of the double top at 92,000. So to make this extremely clear, Bitcoin is not bearish unless it breaks down below 92,000. But as you can tell from this price action and all of these lower high rejections, which is now breaking down to a lower low, it is looking more and more likely that this could be a very valid scenario coming up very soon. And Bitcoin moves very quickly once it starts to move lower because the bears take the elevator down, and in cryptocurrencies in general, they typically do see flash crashes, which means it would not take long, maybe only a couple of weeks, for Bitcoin to drop an additional 20% from the breakdown below this neckline at 92,000. So take this very seriously if you are a Bitcoin bull. If you are a Bitcoin bear and you want to short Bitcoin, you can do that below the breakdown at 95,000 or simply wait for the breakdown below 92,000. And you really don't need to bother getting bullish on Bitcoin unless it can come back higher and break these previous highs at 98,000. So you can stay bearish on Bitcoin below 98,000, you could stay bearish below 95,000, or you can wait until we see the confirmed breakdown below 92,000. If you're bullish on Bitcoin, you can stay long as long as you think you have your risk managed, but that risk gets exponentially higher if we break down below 92,000, because while I'm saying it could go down to 73,000, that doesn't mean it has to stop there. It could go as low as it wants to. Once the selling pressure kicks in and then the bears start shorting it and the long positions start to get liquidated, you could get a flash crash of a much deeper correction or crash than I'm predicting. So don't feel like it has to stop at 73,000. So always make sure that risk is managed. So be very cautious here. It looks like price action is going to give us a validation very soon either way. And just for the sake of being thorough on both scenarios, if we start to come out here and break above 98,000, that is the only indication that Bitcoin is going to be looking a lot more bullish. Right now, the bears definitely have the edge. And while we're below that breakdown and looking like we have this potential double top, just be extremely cautious and extremely risk off if we can't hold that support.